Today, we will use a scientific perspective to explore the complex truth behind meteorological events. According to the latest news, on December 6th, severe storm Meghon made landfall in Andhra Pradesh, India, causing violent tornadoes to hit towns in the state. A powerful tornado spiraled through farmlands, residential areas, and highways in Andhra Pradesh. Huge updrafts swept away vegetation and swept other pieces of damaged infrastructure into the air. At a Konaseema gas station, the fast-spinning blast of air came dangerously close to the highway, narrowly missing a cargo truck and then shorting what appeared to be a nearby power line. At the same time, the tornado tore apart all loose attachments from buildings and shops, uprooted trees, and caused severe damage to bicycles and cars, causing heavy falls to riders and even destroying telephone poles. Thank you for liking, leaving comments, subscribing and turning on the little bell. We will update every day. Tropical cyclones often produce weaker tornadoes. These situations especially occur before and after landfall, which exactly confirms the situation of this tornado in Andhra Pradesh, India. Research shows that tropical cyclones can produce tornadoes about 3 days after landfall, with most occurring during the day. Tornadoes are not uncommon in India and occur mostly in the eastern parts of the country. In early March this year, 2 tornadoes occurred in Punjab province, damaging about 30 houses and injuring dozens of people. When we encounter a tornado outdoors, reasonable escape methods are crucial. First, try to determine the direction and speed of the tornado, try to stay away from its path, and leave it from the side or back. If you feel that a tornado is nearby, you can hide in a strong bunker, such as a basement, semi-basement, steel concrete structure building, etc. Secondly, stay away from windows, doors, and surrounding walls. Get closer to the corner, cover yourself with some thick clothing, and protect your head to prevent being injured by flying debris. If possible, open doors and windows to balance the air pressure inside and outside to prevent the wind from blowing off the roof and blowing down the walls. Immediately afterwards, if there is no bunker in the wild, you should quickly find a low-lying place, such as a field ditch, a road ditch, etc. Lie down on the ground, close your mouth and eyes, and protect your head with your hands and arms. But be careful to stay away from big trees, telephone poles, billboards, fences, etc. to avoid being hit, crushed, or getting an electric shock. Finally, if you encounter a tornado while riding in a car, you should get out of the car immediately and seek shelter in a nearby low-lying area or shelter. Do not stay in the car. Because tornadoes can not only suck up and swallow cars and people, they can also create a large air pressure difference inside and outside the car, causing explosions. Historically, some tornado events have caused extremely severe disasters, affecting millions of lives and property. Here's a rundown of some of the worst tornado events. On March 18, 1925, a disaster known as the Tri-State Tornado occurred in the American Midwest. It was the deadliest tornado in American history and the longest known tornado in the world. It stretched from Missouri to Indiana, across 3 states. A total of 695 people were in danger, 2,027 people were injured, and 15,000 homes were destroyed. The intensity of this tornado was rated as EF5, the highest level, with wind speeds exceeding 320 kilometers per hour, width reaching 1.6 kilometers, path length of 352 kilometers, and duration of 3.5 hours. The tornado was so destructive that in some places it was completely wiped out and not even the foundations could be seen. On April 3rd to 4th, 1974, a tornado event known as the Super Outbreak occurred in the United States and Canada. It was the largest known tornado outbreak in the world, producing a total of 148 tornadoes, 23 of which reached the EF4 or EF5 level, covering 13 states and Ontario, causing 315 people in danger, 5,484 people injured, and more than 300,000 people homeless. The cause of this outbreak was a strong cold front meeting warm, moist air, creating an extremely unstable weather system. The strongest tornado in this outbreak occurred in Brandenburg, Kentucky, with wind speeds reaching 515 km/h. It was one of the strongest tornadoes on record. On November 15, 1989, a disaster known as the Dhaka cyclone occurred in Bangladesh. It was the deadliest single tornado known in the world. It struck rural areas near the capital Dhaka, leaving 1,300 people in danger. 12,000 people were injured and 80,000 people were left homeless. The intensity of this tornado was rated EF4, with wind speeds of 260 km/h, width of 1,600 meters, a path of 80 kilometers, and a duration of 40 minutes. The tornado was so destructive that some villages were completely destroyed and even trees and animals were swept away. In April 2011, a disaster known as the 2011 tornado outbreak occurred in the United States. It was the worst tornado month in the history of the United States. A total of 753 tornadoes were produced, 15 of which reached the EF4 or EF5 level, covering in 21 states. 364 people were in danger, more than 2,000 people were injured, and hundreds of thousands of people were affected. The cause of this outbreak was an unusually strong jet meeting warm, moist air, forming multiple severe storm systems. The most serious day of this outbreak was April 27th. A total of 199 tornadoes occurred that day, 4 of which reached the EF5 level. It was the most EF5 tornado day on record. The strongest one occurred in Ola. In Fort Hackle, Bama, the wind speed reached 325 km/h. The width reached 2.6 kilometers, the path was 132 kilometers long, and the duration lasted for 1.5 hours, causing 72 people to be in distress and 1,500 people injured. In May 2013, a disaster known as the 2013 tornado outbreak occurred in the central United States. It was the worst tornado week in the history of the United States. A total of 84 tornadoes were produced, 7 of which reached the EF4 or EF5 level, covering it affected 10 states, causing 49 people to be in distress, more than 1,000 people injured, and hundreds of thousands of people affected. The outbreak was caused by a strong cold front meeting warm, moist air, creating multiple severe storm systems. The most serious day of this outbreak was May 20th, when a total of 29 tornadoes occurred that day. The strongest one occurred in Moore, Oklahoma, with wind speeds reaching 340 km/h and widths reaching 2.8 kilometers, with a path length of 27 kilometers and a duration of 40 minutes, causing 24 people to be in danger and 377 people to be injured, including 7 students. The wind speed of a tornado can reach 400 km/h or even higher, making it the strongest wind on Earth. The diameter of a tornado ranges from tens to hundreds of meters, its duration ranges from seconds to minutes, and its moving speed ranges from a few kilometers per hour to 100 kilometers per hour. The destructive power of a tornado is amazing. It can knock down, blow away, break or blow away objects such as houses, trees, cars, trains, etc., causing casualties and property damage. According to the degree of damage caused by tornadoes, tornadoes can be divided into levels F0 to F5, with F0 being the weakest and F5 being the strongest. A tornado is a violent rotating column of air that extends from the base of a cumulonimbus or cumulus cloud to the ground, or water, usually in the shape of a funnel or column, accompanied by strong winds, thunder and lightning, heavy rain and hail. The formation of tornadoes requires extremely unstable air disturbances or the violent convergence of high temperature, high humidity air and cold air. When the temperature on the ground is about 30 degrees Celsius, the temperature has dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius at an altitude of 8,000 meters. This temperature difference causes the cold air to drop sharply, the hot air to rise rapidly, and the upper and lower air convection speeds are too fast, thus forming many small vortices. When these small vortices gradually expand, coupled with violent vibrations, they can easily form large vortices and become wind damage that attacks the ground or the ocean. Tornadoes are the product of thunderstorms in clouds. Specifically, a tornado is a form in which a small part of the huge energy of a thunderstorm is concentrated and released in a small area. The formation of a tornado can be divided into 4 stages. First, atmospheric instability creates strong updrafts, which are further intensified due to the influence of maximum passing airflow in the jet stream. Then, due to interaction with winds shearing in both velocity and direction in the vertical direction, the updraft begins to rotate in the middle of the troposphere, forming mesoscale cyclones. Subsequently, the mesoscale cyclone itself thins and intensifies as it develops toward the surface and extends upward. At the same time, a small area of enhanced convergence, that is, a nascent tornado, is formed inside the cyclone. The same process that creates a cyclone forms the core of the tornado. Finally, the rotation in the core of a tornado, unlike that in a cyclone, is strong enough to stretch the tornado all the way to the ground. When the developed vortex reaches the height of the ground, the surface air pressure drops sharply and the surface wind speed rises sharply, forming a tornado. In some countries around the world, due to special geographical features, tornado events occur frequently. First of all, the United States is the country with the most tornadoes in the world, with an average of about 1,200 per year. The central and southeastern regions of the United States, especially Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, etc., are known as tornado corridors and are high incidence areas for tornadoes. Tornado season in the United States generally runs from March to June, but can occur in other months. Secondly, Canada is the country with the second most tornadoes in the world, with an average of about 62 per year. Tornadoes in Canada are mainly concentrated in Ontario, Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. Canada's tornado season generally runs from May to September, but can occur in other months. In addition, the UK has the highest number of tornadoes in Europe, with an average of about 33 per year. Tornadoes in the UK are mainly found in southern England and Wales. Tornado season in the UK generally runs from June to August, but can occur in other months as well. It cannot be ignored that Australia is the country with the most tornadoes in the southern hemisphere, with an average of about 20 per year. Tornadoes in Australia are mainly concentrated in Western Australia and New South Wales. Australia's tornado season generally runs from September to December, but can occur in other months. It should be noted that Bangladesh is the country with the most tornadoes in Asia, with an average of about 6 per year. Tornadoes in Bangladesh are mainly distributed along the Bay of Bengal and the Ganges Delta. The tornado season in Bangladesh generally runs from March to May, but can occur in other months as well. Through research and observation, it is not difficult to find that the frequency and intensity of tornadoes in the suburbs are higher than in the city. Why is this? First of all, the formation of tornadoes requires extremely unstable air disturbance, or the violent convergence of high temperature, high humidity air and cold air. Due to the influence of human activities, cities usually have higher temperatures, humidity, and pollutants. These factors will affect the stability and convection capabilities of the atmosphere, thereby inhibiting the generation of tornadoes. Thank you for liking, leaving a message, subscribing, and turning on the little bell. We will update the latest news from around the world every day. Continue to use a scientific perspective to explore the complex truth behind meteorological events.